in munching away on his kibbles, while you recite the internet marketing monologue. That's a and so I do use this a little bit more than I thought. From there, I was thinking about the next one I don't use as much from it. So that was an easy one to find. But even I'm talking to them, because that's one thing, is if you know your target market, if you know your perfect customer, you could really talk to them. And I don't know how many people you relate to this. And here's an interesting question, for you. And granted, I sent this out to my list. You guys are on my list. How many of you would say that this makes sense to you guys? Like, you guys are, maybe, this is kind of a lonely, for you, it might be a lonely business outside of the internet. That's why we have, people go to events. That's why people go to, get on Facebook and the groups, but your, wife doesn't want to hear about it. Your kids don't want to hear about it. Your doc doesn't want to hear about it. Nobody wants to hear about it whenever you're talking about this stuff on the internet. And I've got a bunch of people saying, yes, that's me. Yep. Get it. So, because that's how I feel too. And that's one of the things, that's the reason I'm just saying, I have another piece of copy. I had a piece of copy that I wrote once, an email I wrote, and I was like, hey, it's like the family you wish that you always had. Like I was talking about come to this event. And the reason is because it's that, family that you always wish you had. It is, because you can finally talk about stuff and everybody actually listens to you and everybody actually is interested in the stuff that you're talking about whenever you're talking about the stuff that we talk about, like even copy, from there. So that's a good one. Now, this one, I think we need to use a little bit more. I realize this many times that I'm not, sometimes you build yourself up and you start thinking you're invincible, but you're not. I told my wife this weekend, I was like, oh my God, I'm not Superman. I thought I was, but I'm not, I'm human too. And so to give you an example of this, and even putting that in there. So one of the things you could use in your copy is just, letting them know, hey, I'm human too. I'll give you an example of copy that I have about that. Give it, from there is, example would be like this. Hey, if I were to open up anymore, then I wouldn't have the time, to teach Sunday school at my local church, much less watch my daughter bowl in her league. And that brings you real, for people to know, like, hey, what, they got a daughter, what, they actually do other things other than this internet stuff, and it's letting people know that, hey, you actually have a life too. I actually used this today in conversation. And I said, and this is truth, I literally did a call earlier today, and I told everybody, I'm like, guys, I just got back for first time in about 20 years I ever took a whole week off and never touched my computer. And I say that because I was like, I didn't really have, it was a thing I've been catching up. And but the world didn't die. That's actually when I told my wife I'm not, I guess I'm getting older and I'm realizing it. But the fact is, utilizing this in your copy makes really well. I'll give you another one that I know that I've used before in copy is because of time restraints. I wish I had my calendar was open for everything, but because of time restraints, and then I go in to give with the fact that I volunteered, the fact I do this, and this, I only can take on so many. That I've used it a little different way than that, but you guys got to get the point. It's just letting them know, like, hey, look, I'm really good at a specific thing, but I also have a life too, and so it could be not just I'm human, but I have a life too. I have a life too. One, but I'm a human, which would be number 6. Number 7 is scarcity similes. Now, when it comes to this, and when we're thinking about this, is in looking at this when it comes to scarcity. I'll give you an example. And here's one. So this is from a while back. And it's like, in any case, now that I'm back from my journey from the other side, and I'm taking on 15 serious folks under my wings and forcing them to make this work. So that's another, great way from there. Great way from there. And, so I just wanted to share those different things you can utilize in there. I actually wrote out some more. I was kind of like, do not cancels. And when I'm talking about, so let me tell you another one. Actually, I didn't put in here, so I'll give you guys some bonus ones. Is that cool? Actually, before I do, you guys, so far, have you guys enjoyed this? Have you guys, I mean, you guys getting any value out of this? Yep. Cool. Okay. So I'll give you guys a couple more. Okay, good. it is lonely when I don't see interactions, but I told you guys I didn't want any, but I do appreciate it. So all of you guys, thank you guys very much for that. So let me give you guys some more. Okay. Now let me give you guys some more stuff. So there's some that I didn't list. So do you guys want some that I didn't list? I do have some more that I didn't list on here. So those are the 7. If you guys want more, I'll give you guys some more. Yep. Okay. Now I will tell you, I do not have pictures for these. All right, but I have notes. I have pages and pages and pages of notes. So, so I gave you the humor bombs. I gave you the benefit similes. Then I gave you the call to action. Okay, here's another one. Write this one down. It's value building similes. So here's an example of that. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't have a PowerPoint for that. What I do have is what I do have for you. Actually, I'm just gonna put the word example there. So what I do have is this. So here's another one. It says hold on. I do. The things that I'm looking at, I'm printed off. I actually have in copy. I'm going to go straight to my computer and I'll find them for you there. Hold on one sec. How am I going to do this? I'll be able to show them to you. Okay. Cool. Okay. Give you guys some more. How am I going to get to my desktop? Give me 2 seconds. Show my screen. And what I'm going to do, you'll see it in a second. So these are, like I said, I've got so much stuff on here. This is a bunch of pages. Let me view. Let me go over here and insert draw. Man, I want to increase the size of these words. Oh, well, probably would help if I do this. Oh, you know what I could do? Actually, make it better. Go over here. Plus. Here we go. Okay, so I already gave you guys these. So I already had playful bombs. I did benefit similes. I did the action. Let's see. Okay, so here's some right here. So here's 4 more. And actually I'll give you, and then we'll end with the do not cancels. Okay. So here's one right here I think is pretty good. Share with you value building similes. So here's one. I haven't taught a single soul how to do any of the, do anything in about a year because I've been off the grid, doing what I'm about to teach you. So I've used that one before. Here's another one, sympathetic humor. We did talk about that. It is the lonely business one. So we did hit on this one. Okay. So remember that one where I was talking about the Mr. Miyagi and I was talking about the one. Here's a signature humor. And so when I was doing the one, and the one I was doing, I said, hey, and I remember that benefit simile that I was talking about. It was, hey, when I take you under my wing, I'll be your Mr. Miyagi and you'll be Daniel saving you from Cobra Kai. And then one day I am tasked, and then I went into more. So if you do something like that, then have fun and literally put wax on, wax off as you're signing off, and then put your name and then Miyagi. Just kind of, really have some fun. Have some fun and, to make things happen. Another one is stealth benefits. And this is one we did. So this goes in, my own buddy cracked me up the other day when he visited me, and we were in St. George. He told me about this metaphor. One of the guys he hired to write copy, came up with it. It works faster. This is actually mine was. I always found one of my best converting subject line was, faster than a cheetah. He took it to a whole nother level, and it works faster than a cheetah on crack. Oddly enough, this metaphor, or is it a simile, is perfect for what I'm showing 5 new students in my experience in the coaching program. So, and that's a good one. Now, let me give you guys, and I'm going to end this section with the do not cancels. Do not cancels. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, so just so you know, the examples are inside the email itself. So they're just, things that I'm embedding into my emails when I'm sending them out. So here's another one, which would be do not cancels. Okay. Watch this. So, the do not cancels. Anytime you tell somebody don't do something, they're going to do it. Right. So do not reply to this email, with your phone number for me to tell you about it if you do not want to be accountable day to day. Here's another one. Do not reply to this email, with your phone number for me to tell you all about, all about it if you aren't willing to do, everything I'm about to tell you to do. Here's another. Do not reply to this email with your phone number for me to tell you all about it if you do not want me overseeing you personally in this coaching program. You see that? You see how we used it? And that's a pretty good fun way that we've done it from here. Actually, I'll give you one more, and it's actually without the norm. So I'll give you guys another one without the norm. You'll see right here. So here's another one we've used before. And when I'm talking about without the norm, what I'm taking is this. Is the fact, hold on, it ended at, somebody, okay. So I'm just letting you know, somebody goes, it makes me want to send me their, it makes them want to send there, and then it said P ... I had to click on it and figure out what you were saying because I'm like, what? No, it's phone number. Yeah, it totally does. So this is one I'll just share with you guys. This works really well in a lot of the copy that I write, and I've used this forever. And in fact, we use the same exact concept in emails that we did. In one day, generated, well, I'll say in a couple of days, we generated about 3.7 million, and from the emails from that, on a launch. And it was using without the norm. And so without the norm is pretty cool. And what normal is, everybody's got a list, everybody's got launches, when I'm talking to my world, everybody, is about affiliate stuff, everybody talks about JV partners. So if you can see it where I'm going without the norm. So whatever's normal in your business, whatever's not what's the norm inside your world is this. When you enroll in my new coaching program, you can replicate what I'm doing to generate sweet, 5-figure per month, without a list, without. So this is without the norm, without a list, without launches, without affiliate stuff, without JV partners. Does that make sense? So those are some, some great ways to inject these in your emails to make things happen from there. All right. So let me ask you guys, we're going to move to kind of a Q&A. If you guys want to ask me any questions or whatever about copy, from there, I'll be glad to answer your questions. When it comes to, copywriting. And let me just quickly move over to the slide from there. So if anybody's got any, from emails, I know I went over those things. If there's any questions anybody's got, I'll be glad to answer those. So hold on one sec. Is this, I'm going to show my slide, and we'll go to from current slide. And here, if anybody's got any questions, you could type them in. I'll be glad to answer anything you guys got. I'd love to know any questions you guys have, or answer any questions. I'm dead serious. Like, I usually don't do that on calls, but today I'll be happy to answer questions that anybody's got to help you become a better email copywriter. All right, I'm seeing some questions coming in. So somebody said, do you use sequences such as, so proper emails, and are you or are your emails self-contained? Let me see something here, because some of these questions. Oh, here we go. I pulled it out a little bit. Now, so that's a good question. So if I broke down the sequences, and I just don't have them here. Well, I'll show you. So I'll just flip to another slide. So if the answer is no. Let me show you all the stuff that I write. I do not just emails. I kind of break things down. If I look at things, and if you chunk it out down to everything I talked about, I, of course, have emails. Like I said, before you get to sequences, you got to get to emails. Here's some of the emails that I send out. I send out rapport emails. I send out anticipation emails. Anticipation emails. So let me just tell you what these are. Report emails is just building rapport. Getting their report emails. I don't send them all the time. I do them in sequences a lot of times, but report emails build rapport. Another kind of email I send out is I send out anticipation emails. Anticipation emails are emails that, of course, anticipating what's happening. It's kind of like the movie trailer thing from there. I also send out bonus pile-on emails where I'm piling on bonus after bonus after bonus on things. Another one that I send out is invitation emails. Invitation emails are like invitation to begin on this call, invitations to webinars, invitation to seminars, invitations from there. So I send out those. I also send out big ticket emails. So big ticket emails are another thing that I send out a lot. Big ticket emails, I will tell you, like invitation emails are usually my shorter emails. Remember what I was saying a little bit earlier is it all breaks down to the length of the email is really dependent upon the outcome of the purpose of the email. So if the purpose of the email, and I know that's spelled wrong, I just looked at it as I'm supposed to go back and fix some of these spellings, but invitation emails are usually shorter. My pile and bonus emails sometimes are a little longer than normal. My anticipation emails could be both, either short or long. If I go in, big ticket emails typically are longer because I need to sell that big ticket a little bit more. My low ticket emails are always shorter. So that's another email. And I know I'm not answering your question, but I want you to understand the emails that I send out, and then I've kind of broken them down into. And then, because if you understand that, then you understand the next piece. And the next piece of everything, I believe, which is on the next slide, is, and I send out closer emails. That is like, hey, last chance, kind of things. I call them closer emails. So I send out closer emails too. But that all comprises of sequences. So whenever I create sequences, so yes, I do send out sequences. And sequences, I create I have an auto affiliate sequence that I've used in the past. I still kind of have. I have movie trailer sequences, probably what you were talking about. I'm not familiar with that exactly what the one you use, the conversation you use, but movie trailer sequences. I use magic scarcity sequences. So that's another sequence that I use. And then also I use a trilogy sequence, which is actually a combination of three it's really three different one sequence and two different types of emails. And I pretty much use those. So yes, I do. And I do make, those things happen, from there. So, cool. Any other questions anybody's got? All right, so these are great questions here. Hold on a second. I'm going to move this a little bit more because these questions are longer. Okay. All right, so there's good questions. Let me look. Somebody asked me about software that writes emails for me. Do you use them any for your emails? I bought a piece of software. I have tried to use it. I like my style and the way that I do it, so I just do it that way. And honestly, I haven't gone back and logged in because I've been so enthralled in my own. So I literally do it. I kind of done it long enough. I go to my own swipes, or I just write it from my own head. So I usually mod my own stuff, or what I do is I write myself, and I don't log in. Let's see. Do you use the sequences? We answered that one. Please tell us how to respond to clicks. I'm not exactly sure what that question means, but if you can get me more clarity on what that means, I'll be glad to respond to clicks. Tell us how to respond to clicks. Next one is, how many emails are ideal for an autoresponder series? Well, it really depends on it really depends on the purpose. It really comes down to that. I think the purpose and the outcome you're looking for. Well, of course, the outcome is going to be one thing, but it really does depend on it. Now, if it's, for example, I have friends that have them goes on for years. For a year. The problem with having them go out too long, and especially most people that do that, they have it with affiliate stuff. Here's your problem, and here's the problem that's actually going to occur for you, and I've learned this the hard way because years ago I actually thought it was a great idea to build a year sequence. And then I realized that offers change, links change. Oh my God, try to go back and change all that is a pain in the butt. So my response to you is, look, 7's the magic number. I don't know why everybody says it. It really depends. So sometimes I'll just have one email in the autoresponder series. Most times I won't, but if I always guaranteed you're going to have one, right? The reason you're going to have one is because whatever you promised in the front, you got to deliver on the second. Now, adding any more from that, it really comes down to how bad do you want to ensure that they get. So let's say, somebody signs up for something for me, and then I want to make sure they get it. The next thing I want to do is I want to send an email and say, hey, I want to double check to make sure you got it. So I'm going to double check. And this is really ensures that I want to let them know, like, hey, I care if you actually get it because I wanted you to get it. So then after that is, hey, now that you got my thing, I might use a sequence or might use emails to build some rapport, or I could go into selling. It's however I want to do it. Hey, but here's the thing that I do is, this is a big thing. When I am, delivering that one, so I will say 3 is probably the minimum that I typically do. And a lot of times I start off at 3 and then I start adding from more. Now, here's the cool thing that I do with my autoresponder series most of the time when I'm writing autoresponder series, or how I add on to it. So I always for me personally, I always start off at 3. Now, how do I get more? Typically more comes from me. I'll create an email, send it out. It works really well. Then I'll just start adding it to my series. And because I want to add to my series things that work, I don't want to add things to my series that don't. So if it worked on a broadcast, typically it'll go in the series. But a lot of times I will write out a series. Here, let me just show you something. Let me give you guys. Let me take you really, really, really deep behind the scenes. Great question. See, you guys ask questions, I'm going to deliver more. Here we go. How do I get to my desktop? This is a new computer. Sorry. Okay, so here we go. Okay, and here we go. And here we go. Okay, so here's an example. This is something I worked on. So I don't know if you guys can see this. So let me make it a little bit bigger. I'm looking at what you guys are looking at. Let's see here. Edit. Now, I don't know if you guys know Charles Kirkland, Jason Parker, and I worked on this project together. But so here's something that we did. This is really for a campaign that we created. So see right here. So we've got, the invitations. This is an invitation email sequence. Really, what you'll see, invitation email subject lines. We break them down into, invitation email subject lines. The shorter, the better. Report. Report. Drop a name. We have all these different things that we wrote out for what to do inside them. You can kind of see right here. Then we have the deadline countdown. Basically, which we wrote. We said invitation email elements. Here's all the things we have in here. The event drivers. And we started breaking things down, and then we have after replay, those are email, so we have a couple different emails. Once they signed up, we have confirmation and reminder emails. We had after webinar emails that are sent out to people that viewed the webinar. We had emails that sent out to people that didn't view the webinar. We had emails going out to people that after they buy. We had emails, the sales page. So we had the whole things, and then we actually had a close from here. We had a theme, and then we also, this is, you could say is a while back, but I found it, which is a good one. And we did fear. So we used fear. We did the front end offer. And then we had the webinar content ideas that we came up with. But what I want to show you, so here's the registration emails. These are invitation emails. So this was a 7-day sequence. So even though it looks like broadcast, because they were broadcasted out, they really weren't in a sequence, but we could always put this in a sequence. So we had subject line. So I we wrote the subject line, we wrote the email itself, and then we have that. So then we come in here, and then we have the next email. So that's email 1, email 2. You can go in, email 3, email 4, email 5, should be 6. And you'll probably see one I just sent out. Email 7. I sent this one out today. That's why it's there, because I went and found it on my thing. So there's email 7, email 8. This right here is a sequence. This is a sequence just to get people on the webinar. Remember I said This is swiping to, so I literally sent this email out today. Okay, so now look, this is emails after they sign up series, 7-day series. So this is after they sign up. So we have that. So I'm scrolling pretty fast, but we have that. And then, we just keep on breaking it down. And here's a, oops, I thought that was the end of it. Okay, so then here's a 4 replay, the email replay sequence, a 3-day sequence. And then boom, we've got that. And then we've got, the emails to the sales page. So we had a 3-day sequence for that. Breaking it down. So all this stuff is methodically thought out before we do it and before we create campaigns, if that makes sense on there. I wasn't planning on showing you guys that, but you guys ask good questions, so you get it. Let's see from her side. Let me go back in here and find the question area. Cool. All right. So John, did I answer your question? All right. So for subject lines, do you prefer benefit-oriented ones or clickbait, attention-grabbing ones? No. Cool. Thanks, John. Okay, let me give you another example. Great question. Okay. Remember that email I just showed you that I sent out? So this was his. That's the thing I sent out. Okay. Watch this. I might have got it down. That was me for my presentation. Maybe it's done on this. But if I took the email that I sent out today, actually, let me just I'll use one of the ones in the one I showed you that he did. So this goes. Actually, you can see right here, registration email. So I'm going to take this. Whenever I write emails, I will tell you, when I write them, I use Notepad for everything. You can see all my stuff's all in Notepad. There's a reason I do that is because when I copy it over, it won't have the gobbledygook. Now, I have a different salutation. Everybody can have their own salutation. Mine is on here. Now, let me show you how I come up with my subject lines. So something like this is something I used today actually to get people on this is, registration ends tonight. The final moment is here. And it's actually, I changed it to email copy secrets. Workshop is tonight. Be sure to register because, and actually mine, I changed it a little bit. Be sure to register, and I bet this is exactly what I'm going to get on early because I have, I probably said something, show up early. That is for you. Okay, so it was something to this effect, the way it did. So for me, when I'm writing, so my subject lines, and this is an interesting way that I do it. For my subject lines, the subject lines, I dig through my copy and I find my subject lines that I test. I have found, if I come over here, when I do a subject line test, when I do split test, how I test is I test from the copy. So here's that would be a subject line I might test. Here's another subject line I might test. I'm going to go through here early. I'm just take this, just using examples here. Get on early. So I'm going to dig through the email and I test and find. So I'll show you how I test. Okay. But what I'll do is, I don't have the perfect answer, but here's the best answer I can give you. The reason I don't is because I've tested enough to know that what I think is right is wrong and what I think is wrong is right. But if you said, Matt, you have a 90, you just take your best shot. I would tell you the subject line that wins in this thing right here. Actually, let me let you guys guess. Which one do you think of these 1, 2, 3, 5 emails? Which one do you think will win? This will be number 1. You can type number 1. Let's put it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just type it. 4, 5. Holy crap. I should have done a poll. There's a lot coming in here. Let me just see. We've got one. Okay, so we get on early. Oh, you came back in. Okay, so cool. So we've got number 1. We got number 3. Number 1, 4, 4, 4, 3, 5, 1, 2, 4. One person got 3. Okay, from all my testing. So here's why did I say that? You notice, listen to me, and there's a 3. 3. So here's the funny thing. Watch this. Actually, let me just do this. 1. Well, you guys heard them. So we had, this is why I said we're never right. I'm never right, and I know this. So there's 1. Actually, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 people that responded. I'm not going to look at any more past that. Only one of you got it right. And most of you, you're only one. And let me show you the winner would be, if I bet you that would be the winner. It doesn't make sense, but here's why. And this is why I kept our conversation today about here, because I know I never can get this 100% right. Here's why I believe, and this is why I say it. I have found when the opening of the email matches the opening of the email, that usually is my winner. Despite benefits, despite curiosity, despite, it probably is. Curiosity always does really well. Actually, an interesting thing is I tested this today. I guarantee you, I know that beat, but most of the time whenever I do that. Here's another thing that I found in my copy. Now, what can beat this? This possibly could beat it. I just know I've been doing this. Possibly could beat it. A lot of times what I find is the ends of my sentences, like bonus for you, that would really get people to, possibly opening up from there, which I said early bonus for you. That could possibly do well. But the reason I say that, because I started noticing the ends of my sentences actually are doing it. I never know what's going to be my thing. But I will tell you, I have looked at my split test recently, and I typically, my first, whenever I do my 5, I usually start off with the one I think is going to be the winner. And I will tell you, I wasn't like this a year ago, and I do this coaching call where I, go over the subject lines. A year ago, I didn't nail it 80% of the time. I think I'm 80% right, which I hope I'll never be that, because I wouldn't. If I got 100%, then I would never test. But I think I'm dead on about 80% right, and I'll just 80% right most of the time. So there's an 80% chance I'm pretty dead on here. And most of the times that's what I'll find is, and here's the reason I think is if the subject line, somebody looks at their phone, or you look at your email or whatever, if you have the subject line and then when you look underneath it, you know how you notice it like gives you the first line and it matches. And when it mirrors it, they know, because most people get duped. Most people, duped everything from here, everything else. Well, everything else from there. So it's funny. And my reason why I test, because I know I'm never right. So, so that's my point on that, from there. Would you send 1,000 each and then roll out the winner? The answer is yes. Actually, I do. When I test 1,000, then I test 1,000, and then I test 1,000, and then I test 1,000. And then I test 1,000, and then I roll out whatever wins out to it. Now in the morning, I do one. In the morning when I do tests like this, I mail one. I wait 1 hour and then mail to 1,000. So I've got a 5,000 database, test segment of 5,000 randomly selected, 5,000, and then 1 hour later I mail. And then make it from there. Usually, now I say that, but usually it's 2 to 3 words, so I did go against it. But the only reason I picked this one is from that. Why is my battery running low? But that's weird. We'll see how that's working. From there. So, all right, let's look at the next question. How do respond when they click to your emails? I still don't understand that question. Let's go to the next. Let me go up here. There was a lot that came in, and looking at my computer, I don't think it's dying, but I mean, it's plugged in and the battery's there. But let's do this. Let's go over here. Let's see this. Ideal. So serious. How many emails do you use? You use to sell a $7 product, and would you pre-think a sequence? Yeah. So for me, I'll just tell you how it works. Great question. How it works for me is this. One, I send one email first. Okay. Here's the reason. I don't care what the price of the product is. I send one email. If it doesn't make me money, I don't mail any again. Now, do I usually pre-think out the email sequence? Yes, I do. However, do I usually go forward and continue the sequence? The answer is no. I manage by what's called an EPC. And so I manage off of EPCs. And so if I mail once, and granted, and I will tell you this, the reason I can say that because I get more than 100 clicks. So if you don't get more than 100 clicks, I would tell you that rule that I use is not as relevant to you. But because I do get, EPC is really based upon 100 clicks or more. So I get a lot more than 100 clicks. So therefore, I could say this. So if I mail once and I don't make money, I move off. If I mail once and I don't make much money, meaning my EPCs are below my threshold or my benchmark, then the number that I'm looking for, then what I do is I move off. However, I do pre-think the sequence, and I do get more than 100. So when it works, then what I do is I then follow up and add more. Next question says, all right, so you got the thin drive. See, I just send them out as gifts, and how do you get them to subscribers, potential subscribers? Okay, so yeah, so whenever you're doing bonuses and giving away bonuses, you've got to, there's one of two ways that you can do it. So if you give away bonuses, you got stuff to give away as a bonus. So I'll give you guys two quick and easy ways that I've used to do it. If you know, the one way is a little more technical. If you have a domain or have a website, I actually use FileZilla. So, I mean, I'm not a new computer. I mean, this is literally, I just started using it yesterday. Okay. What I do is I upload FTP it up, and then I just have the link from there. So if it's like freereport.pdf, then I just give them that link in the email and making it a hyperlink and having them click on it. Or actually, I'm sorry. That would not make sense. Let me repeat this. How do I send it? As gift. Oh, yeah. So I do in the follow-up sequence. So I'll have them do that. Or what you could do, which is actually a great strategy, and will get you a lot of more people opening it, because it's actually going to help your deliverability. Great. I mean, I'm thinking about this right now. Is an easy way to do it is, hey, look, tell somebody to, hey, send me a quick email, and I'll send you the bonus. And then what you do is you just, you could, one, give them the link to it, or two, what you could do is just, add it, add it and just reply back with it. That's another good thing to do. How do you plan? Let's see what this is. How do you plan your email that you're writing, and when do you end the sequence, or do you use the product you're selling to make the email sequence? Well, that's a great question. And so like I will tell you, I test, unless it's my own stuff, but if it's somebody else's stuff, I always test it. If it's mine, I know I'm going to keep on tweaking and going. So for me, I plan, my email writing is, first I ask myself the question, what am I going to offer? What is the purpose of the email? What's the reason I'm sending an email? Okay. So what the reason I'm sending the email is to get people on the webinar. Okay. What will it take for me to get people in the email? Now for me, I do things, and how I create it is this. I send it out as a broadcast. I test it. So I'll do a split test. I'll test it. I'll find the winner. And then I allow the winner, and how I do it is I allow the winner to dictate my next thing. So somebody talked about somebody mentioned somebody's name, and I came up with this concept of trying to think of the name of it. I'll give you another example. Email, like email copy secrets. How did I come up with the name? The 7, or I've been using a lot. If you actually notice, I use in mine how to make big money from email. That actually was one of my highest converting subject lines. And so I actually allow my winner of the split test the day before be the winner. How I craft my message around that concept. And then I keep on honing in that concept. And once I have all the winners, then I take those winners and I put them in a sequence. That's how I do it. However, sometimes like what you saw is we pre-thought out the whole thing. And that's how I used to always do it, is pre-thought, think out everything, write it all out, do it, and then I test it from there. So then I take it, test it. So I would think of 5 subject lines, write the email. Next, think of 5 subject lines, write the email, write the email. Then I have it. Then once I do, and I actually mail that stuff out in the sequence, then I would take those and put it into my follow-up sequence from there. But here's the thing I want to tell you. I probably split test more than any person that I know, but another thing is, I had a conversation with somebody today. I am one of the most consistent people that, this guy was like, God, you're still consistent. You're still doing, it's been 20 years, still doing the same thing. I said, yeah, do it works. And I keep on doing it. So, but my point is, if it's better to get an email out than make it perfect, because of opportunity cost, because every moment that you don't send an email is money out of your pocket. So I will tell you that is also not just one of my biggest strengths, but also my biggest weaknesses, because sometimes I want it to perfect. So I'm saying this to you is, yes, it has made me a lot of money. However, there has been moments like this morning, I should have just sent an email. I split tested because I could have called that day a winner before it happened. I didn't, because I decided I wanted to test. I didn't give it enough time. I had to hurry up and run to a meeting. And I saw that I made the bad call. I made a wrong call because I looked at the data, but I didn't give the data enough time. And after an hour, the winner was apparent, and I just had to go. And so I should have went with one I knew it was going to work, or that I would pretty much position me to win. Then I did, go in from that perspective, from there. Let's see. I think the question I was looking at, one of the questions is, I was talking about the do not cancels. When I was going over that one strategy of the do not cancel, let me go back on. Let's see here. Is this, when I was talking about the do cancels, I said, do not reply to this email with your phone number. And that, I think that's what you're kind of talking about here. So with that one, nobody's clicking on anything. They're just responding back to the email. So you can actually have people go to a page and fill stuff out to call, or I've done, do that a lot, or you just have them email you back and have them do that. We've been doing that a lot lately. And the reason for that is very, very strategic. And the strategy around that is twofold. One, to create the rapport, because we know personalization in emails actually does, and does work really well. And so getting people to email in, that builds a personalization. We're personalizing it a little bit when we're writing back to them. But the other thing is them communicating back to us creates this social activity, and the ISP knows that and sees that. Therefore, what occurs is it says, oh, they must really know each other because they're talking back and forth. Therefore, we're going to make sure that we deliver this email even more. And so if Gmail sees that, or whoever it is sees that, it's going to actually get better deliverability for me when we're doing stuff like that. Do you try to help sell one email, or do you like for a value email, then pitch and sell in the next email? It depends on what it is. It depends on what market too. So for me, it depends. And it really depends on the whole purpose and what the outcome that I'm looking for. If I'm doing a big launch, right? I might tease about that a little bit, letting them know, it's just basically, I think people get mixed up with the idea of building value. I have found, and you got to, this is an interesting distinction. People confuse building value, and it is building value, but you got to think about it. It's got to, be value of purpose, meaning it's really, designed to sell. I'll give you an example. Today, we're having a conversation. I was having a conversation with somebody for lunch that I went to lunch with, and really amazing copywriter, and we were talking about guarantees. And I'll pull it all back. And we were talking about guarantees, and we both agreed that everybody Dan Kenny was a big advocate of making sure you had a guarantee, making sure you have a guarantee, make sure you have a guarantee. And you don't know who Dan is, but he said, we both agreed everybody got it wrong. They missed out on it, meaning the purpose of him saying that, they kind of didn't really hear him. The purpose of Dan really saying that is utilizing the guarantee as a selling mechanism. So if you're not utilizing the value as a selling mechanism, then you're really messing up. Matt Fury, who's a good friend of mine, actually was texting me a little bit earlier. He talks crap about the Browns. He knows I'm a Browns fan, and he's from Tampa. But so he talks crap about it. He said we're going to get, I don't know, a new head coach, and I forget who he said it's going to be. I think it said Clinton or something. Hillary. I don't know. Whatever. But my point is, so Matt likes to do things this way. And so he calls it, and I'm just going to tell you, this is kind of behind the scenes conversation, but he calls it a little bit differently. What he does is he says, we're going to have foreplay in the morning, we're going to have sex at night, meaning it might be the same concept, but whatever it is teeing up the next thing. It's pre-selling the thing that he's selling that night. And so that's how he does it. Has foreplay in the morning, then he has sex at night. So he's making his big sale from there. So and I don't think it's help and sell. I think it's pre-sell and sell. I think is a lot more powerful in it, which is kind of the same, same thing. But people do mix. I think people mix up the idea of that. You can still give value in pre-selling. So that's why I want to make that clarification. You can give value in pre-selling. But I want you to think, everybody think that way, is it should be a mechanism. When you're giving value, it should be a mechanism to sell whatever you're offering in the next email in the sequence, if that makes sense. How often do you get a reply back from the emails broadcast, from a email broadcast? Well, I mean, every time I do it, depends on what it is and how, what's the thing. I mean, bribery works really well. If you don't get response first, then you could always bribe them by, hey, I'll send you this kind of thing. So if somebody really wants something, we'll do that. Let's see. Oh, good questions. How important is versus getting their name versus getting the email? Okay, here's my opinion, and this is mine. It served me really well. It has increased my conversions on my pages. I have not seen a change in my income when I did this, but I only get the email. The moment I get their names, not on opt-in pages, the moment I get their names is when they purchase. And at that moment, from that moment, but I always make sure, especially on opt-in pages and stuff like that, I have found that, especially early on, now it's not as bad. is, somebody's like, how the hell do you know my name? They forget they gave it to you, but it also increases conversion. I've done tests where I've done it be where you're mailing with a name and not a name, and I haven't seen a change in conversion. Now, I will say this. I have tested where I actually use the name in the subject line. That does get me more opens, but let me be clear, opens don't equal income. Opens are really for egos. I have not seen it really make a big change in clicks. So if that makes sense from there. So yeah, I mean, personally for me, I mean, especially the initial of the relationship, beginning of the relationship, just getting the email, you're good to go. And then once they purchase from you, now you got the name from there. Oh, no problem. Do you ever convert high performing emails into YouTube videos and using paid advertising on those platforms? The answer is no, I don't. I used to. What I do, so I'll give you something that I do, is my subject line. So whenever I do my test and I find subject line that works, you will notice that my video titles will probably be that subject line that worked really well, especially if I'm talking about doing a video about that topic. When I'm sharing a post on my fan page, you will see that share, when I share it, and usually if that post on my fan page is my email, so if I find an email that really crushes it, I'll turn it into a post. When I turn that into a post and I share that post, what I find out is I'll take my winning subject line when I'm passing it over and sharing it with a group or whatever I'm sharing with. So that's the moment I am doing it. I really don't use YouTube as much as I should. My kids are all about it, but yeah, I'm not. Let's see here. Somebody asked me this question. You might have missed it. Let's see here. There you go. Do you ever use Gucci or multivariate testing? The answer is no, I don't. I don't. And me and buddies have had multiple conversations about that. And we all kind of agree that we don't. And I don't know I have used it on pages, and many people just went and glazed right over everybody's head. I have used it on pages. However, I stopped doing it. I really do. Now mine, and here's the reason I do that, because, and this is actually interesting and fascinating. My testing mechanism is different. And here's let me show you. And this is an important point. And I didn't even show it when I was here. I test radicals. And when I test radicals, I get radically different results. When you're doing things like that, you're changing a little slight variation. And I have found when I test slight variations, I get slight variations in results. So it would probably be a secondary or a third thing that I would do. But for me, I'm testing radically different things. When I test different radicals, I get radically different results. Therefore, I do that. So, and it's the way I do it. So I really do an A/B split test. I could see me possibly doing it secondary, but because of that, now if I go back to it, it would probably be a secondary thing. I don't, because when I'm doing my, especially I'm really testing off subject lines, because I have found like subject lines I can have the same content, same body copy, and different testing on the subject lines, but different subject lines can dictate the clicks, can dictate the amount of sales I have. I'll give you an example. Using the subject line buy now, and another subject line, hey, hey is going to get a lot of opens, but buying now is going to get me a lot more sales. So, but my point is hey is going to get huge opens from there. And when I have radical different results, in two ways, one from an open perspective and one from a buy perspective. So that's why I test from there and do that. And then I go into slight, I do slight variation. So let's say this was, now the reason I tested against this from that copy, because wasn't my winning copy. It wasn't I didn't see my test results on that copy if I mailed it. So therefore I tested against it. And once I do find a winner, let's say this is the winner. Now for me, what I'll do is I will take on my test too. If I ever mailed this email again in the future, I would change it up. And here's how I would do it. I would come in here and I would actually do something like this. I would take it in and I would do, start testing things like this, changing slight variations in my test. The moment is finally here. I would kind of go through, but you could see like how I'm making slight variations and change. And I would test that out here. The moment is finally, that would be my second test. If that makes sense. Cool. So that's how I did it. Let's see over here. Okay. Do you have a generic 1 to 2 month sequence for new leads, then add affiliate promotions as you promote, or do you just promote after 3 days after the that's a great question. The answer is it really depends on what sequence. So I have two different business models, but if I'm doing affiliate promotions, I will tell you what I do. From affiliate promotion perspective, on affiliate promotions perspective, the answer is 3 days, then start promoting to them. If it's my own product perspective, like as part of, I have, the EPC Institute, I have different things. If it's leads that are coming in for that, that's a totally different way I'm treating them than it is from, hey, it's an affiliate model. So on the affiliate model, yes, it's 3 days, really roughly I'm actually starting at the beginning. So let me just be clear. I want to say I start promoting them immediately. And here's how I do it. So, and there's, one thing I know, because all my stats show that welcome messages are the number one biggest, highest open email. So at that moment, I want to train them. I want to sell them. So we're talking about affiliate stuff. So just want to be clear who's listening that I'm not talking about, hey, branding and stuff like that. This is affiliate stuff. So on that is, hey, here's, thank you very much for signing up. Here's the thing I promised you. And then I usually put PS, by the way, people that purchase or download this also purchase this, give them a link. I'm already starting the selling concept in their mind to start off that immediately. So from there, on there now, and then I'll go to the full on pitch after 2 days. So on the third day, it's like, hey, by the way, I don't know if you've got this yet or whatever it is, grab this now. So they're getting in the message number one is, hey, here's the thing that I promised you. PS, people that downloaded this also purchased this, just like Amazon would do. And the next one is, hey, just want to make sure you got it. Second, I just wanted to, as word you might have missed it. Here's the link again. And then it's PS, want to make sure so that would be message 2. Message 3 is a full on email to that. And then I could possibly, and then I'd probably put in, a couple more from there, but, a couple more from there. So on that one, let's see here. How many words about, that one? Okay, let's say that I sell, for example, GoToWebinar software. How do I know what words to pick to sell this product in the subject line, or what do you put in the email body copy? Okay, so that's a great question. So that's a great question. So we're talking about writing an email from scratch. So one, You can do it. You're selling another person's product, so there's an easy way, and then I go back in and fix it. And it looks like a freaking battery. Let's see. Okay, so let me show you this. I want to go to webinar.com, right? Now, I would really look on their pages. See, they already did some of the stuff. Eases the headache and the hassle from webinar. No matter what your goal is, and this is an email right here. Hey, plan, present, follow up. I mean, they gave you the freaking email. Go here, watch this video, and if that's what it is. You have a so I wouldn't do that, but you go here. Here's the thing. Actually, more looking at this, I want to go here, start my free trial. This is where I'd actually start my conversation. So I would look here and look at this. Get a free 7-day trial, no credit cards, no commitments. So there's some copy. Here's some copy that's going to give me a start. Here's some copy that's going to give me some start. Here's a copy. And, it's like, hey, did you know that 64% of, business-to-business content marketers do webinars is one of the most, effective tactics. 2.1, did you know that, 2.7 million webinar, are hosted every year on GoToWebinar? Did you know 25% of the, GoToWebinar, most, are generated by this, more qualified leads? And then, you kind of got, here's your angle. Look, I've got a special opportunity for you to get a free 7-day, free trial on this. So I go to the order form first, analyze the order form, and then I reverse back. Because the number one biggest thing whenever I'm actually selling or actually even writing a sequence or ever doing anything, or writing a sales presentation or whatever I'm doing, I'm going to go create the order forms first. So, and then I'm going to write from there. So the same thing would be true if I'm selling something. I go to their order form first, because what do we really want to have happen at the end of the day? We want them to go here and to take this particular action, from there. So that's what I always do, is go to the end and then start with the end in mind. And remember I said, what is the purpose? What's the outcome? The purpose and the outcome of me writing the email, if this was it, and I was running this, would be, hey, to get people to sign up for a 7-day free trial. So then I go to the place where I'd click, and I'm do it from there. And then I start from the order form, and then I work back to the sales letter, and then I do from there. Yeah. And somebody did mention, I do actually, before I do that, I actually grab my American Express card. I stare at it. I ask myself, what's going to get me to pull it out, and to fill it out, on there. When I'm creating my own stuff, I do that. When I'm on somebody else's, I probably do that. I actually don't when I'm on somebody else's, especially when it's all done. But whenever I am creating my own offer, I do use the American Express card, from there. Cool? Cool. All right. Let's see here. View slideshow. All right, so resume. Oh, show slow. Okay, so let me go back to the beginning. Yep. Does that make sense? All right. So I got a question, you guys. Please participate. Since you guys have been asking me questions, I want to ask you 2 questions, and I'll get back to Q&A. Okay. I saw some questions coming in. I got question number 1. Guess what I'm going to offer you? Literally, seriously, guess what I'm going to offer you? Seriously, answer the question. I really want to know what do you think I'm going to offer you, and I'll tell you the answer in 1 second. What do you think I'm going to offer you? Swipe file. Good. Cool. Coaching program. Email copy. Yep. Cool. Coaching. Cool. Cool. Ha! Andy. Cool. Anybody else? Guess what I'm going to offer you? Don't leave. I'll answer your questions in a second. There's more people on. Please just answer. Don't worry. I'm not. Just guess what I'm going to offer you. I need to see one more, and we'll move forward. And I'll answer any question you guys got. Well, I do have one more quick question. Nice. Cool. All right, cool. You guys smart. So the answer is nothing. I'm not offering you guys anything. So hope you guys enjoyed it. No, but I do. Really nothing. So let me tell you why I asked you this question. This is pretty cool. I heard somebody say this the other day. So you guys, this is so good, and I should never. And just to share with you, is this. So somebody said once, and this is so crazy. Lance, you'll love this. So I was in London a couple weeks ago, and a kid, a really good copywriter. His name is that was there. Who was there? He was at our event. Brian Anderson and I did together. A good copywriter sitting there, and his son told me this. And his son goes, "You know how to make sure that you can deliver whatever, like you're on a date, what the secret dating secrets." And I was like, what? Because he's in the, he's in college or whatever. He's like, you want to know a dating, secret, the dating secret that you can make sure that you always make your girlfriend happy on? And I was like, what is that? He's like, well, whenever you're trying to, you always ask, and ladies don't get mad, but he said, whenever you're asked, her, like, where would you go to eat? And they'll say, no, I don't know where I want to go to eat. And it's like, it doesn't matter, whatever you want. And then you go and they don't want it. And he goes, you know how to fix that? And I was like, what? Just say, hey, guess where we're going to go eat? And then they guess, they tell us the first thing that they want. And then you go take them there. And then they're always happy they always get what they want. So what I do is I just use it to you guys. Hey, guess what I'm going to offer you? Just because I want to get some ideas, because I want to create a program and I don't know what it is. So you guys said swipe file, you guys said coaching program, email copy, you said coaching, you said swipe, you said done for you, you said partner, all great ideas. All great ideas. And so just want to get a general idea of what everybody's saying without seeing what each other said. So I'll just tell you what the answer was on that. So, we've been on here and I got another quick question and then I'll answer it. We've been on here since we've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. It's an hour and 45 minutes. And we've, been sharing the answer Q&A. My next question for you is this: how much is this kind of information worth to you? And you already know I'm not going to sell anything. So, but realistically, how much is this kind of information worth to you? And then I'll go to back to Q&A. Massive. Cool. All right. I need one more. Understanding how to turn words into money is the best thing you could ever do. It's going to make you the best, the better copywriter you use. Here's one thing about copywriting, just to share with you guys, when it comes to copywriting. When you start utilizing in your language, in fact, it's going to be the most powerful thing. Let me say how important it is to me and how much it's worth to me, so that you guys know the difference. It is so important to me that when my children were small, when they were babies, I wrote a story and talked to them about and wrote a story about this, magic man, and talked about and like the magic words this person had that allowed him to get whatever he wanted in life. And it really was copywriting words. So I taught him about the word discovery. I taught him about the word, I taught him about all these different words. In fact, one of the most powerful words, let me give you guys the number one most powerful word, I believe. What's the magic word? How, like, if I took a bunch of kids in here, put all the kids in this room, and we put 16 kids in this room, 15 kids in there, it doesn't matter. But two of those kids are my kids. if I asked him, oh, what's the magic word? What would they say? Please, all kids, except for my children. My children will tell you the real magic word. And the real magic word is because. That's the real magic word, is the word because. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the studies on this, and we found it to be true. And actually, my son does it to me all the time. And in fact, my son gets away with more stuff than my mom because my mom has no idea that my mom believes the magic word is please, but she doesn't realize the true magic word is because. So my son will say to her, like, like my son will come in here and I was like, Dad, I'd like to go outside. I'm like, no, you can't. You got to go do your homework. And then he'll come back in here, Dad, but I really want to go inside. I'm like, no, you can't. You got to do your homework, or you got to do this, you got to do that. And he's 10, 11. And so he'll say that, but he knows, he'll go, Dad, I want to go outside because I got to go put my bike in the garage. Like, go, dude, just go. Like, change everything. There's studies show that the word because, if you're in a line, if somebody's in line in front of you, you try it out, like test it out, not just in your copy, but in your common words. The more you can apply things in your common words, the more powerful you're going to become and be able to get the things you want. But if you literally say, hey, look, can I get in front of you? Yeah, it's so Cialdini. It is Cialdini. That's exactly where it was from. I could not think of it. Thank you very much. But you guys should read it. There's a book, Cialdini, talking about it. But I will tell you that word will get you so far. And in fact, I use it in my copy a lot. Probably one of my favorite words that I use in all my copy. And people don't see it, but it, outside of everything I said, that one word is the word that can open up so many doors for you because it works. No, but truthfully from there. All right. So we do have another question. I want to move back. Question. Q&A. So there was a question that did come in. Cool. Thank you guys very much for this. Just like to know how to handle the clicks on my email. Like click the product. Let's see, to the product I want to sell. Well, I mean, it's called a hyperlink. And so, whenever you're writing an email, it just really depends. But you're writing the email, you put a link in there. I don't know really what, about that. But I mean, that's it. Any other question? Okay. Do I follow how? So on your question that you're having about links and stuff like that, here, let me give you the end when they click the link. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how to help you because I can't get my head to there where you're at. I just can't get there for some reason. But John, your question is amazing. Is really good. Have you tested opt-in pages? And should I have sales pages, or should I have sell copy on it, or just a headline? Less is more usually. Less is more usually. And here's something I will tell you. So this is actually really cool what I found. And, a lot of times early on when I first started, years ago, I got started email marketing. I started marketing in 1997. Started email marketing in 1999. But one thing I learned early on is that whatever ad I was doing, if I modeled an ad, if I created an ad and that ad landed, and then they went to the next page, and on that next page, they it looked and said the same thing, that it worked really well, and want to make sure it's congruent. I bring that up because something occurred to me this year is I've done a lot of split testing on on emails, like what colors to use, what buttons, all this stuff in email. But I also know that a lot of times I could test my subject lines, my headlines through running ads, but I never thought about doing the opposite, meaning whenever I split test, and I've split tested the look and feel and everything, I have found for me, if I model my email, like I test all my stuff out, My headlines are usually my best converting subject lines. Now I'll tell you 99% of the, I hate giving blanket statements, but I will tell you it's about 90% of the time. My winning, when I've tested, do test, yes, I test over Optimist. When I test my opt-in page, I have found 90% of the time my best converting subject lines are the ones that work best on my opt-in page. Also, I have found my copy on the page, if it matches one of my short emails, that, whether if it's the invitation email to do it, my best converting invitation email is actually the best copy to write on the page. And in fact, you guys signed up for it. Like that page you guys signed up for, when you guys signed up was an actual freaking email, and email. So if you go to copy, let's go over here. This is actually an email, and you can go find it. This is an email. I didn't actually change this, but this would be something better. This was actually the first one, but this is an email. You can actually go find it. This is actually my email. This is my PS on an email. This was actually the email right here. This was actually a freaking email. Now, I said Matt Basak. It says, I am going to reveal. I will share everything with you. Now, I probably would, if I remove this, the reason was in email, like you could literally probably go look for reveal how to make big money from writing, big money from writing a few words. Get on early to show up bonus. This is, get on early to secure your seat and to get your early show up bonus. That was an email. So I have found it works. Yeah, cool. So, on there. Cool. Awesome. Well, good. I will tell you, I'm going to get off here in 8 minutes. So if anybody's got any questions in 8 minutes, I'm going to get out of here. Was the bonus the video? Yes, it was. Should I include? Yeah, and I removed that video at 2 minutes after. So nobody got it for early birds early. Should include relevant picture in emails or just text? A picture of what into? I have done text, and the only picture I usually put in mine is either in the header or in the my personal picture on it, because I'm doing from a branding perspective. It depends on what market you're on too. But my point is, see, in my world, when in email marketing and internet marketing and digital marketing and all that stuff, my world is there's a problem we have is a lot of people aren't using their real names, not using their real faces. That you could be anybody that you're actually doing. And so I want to be that guy that actually is like not afraid to put my picture on stuff, not afraid to do that. I mean, hell, I've been here for 20 years, so I do that. Yeah. Let's see. What copy did you write to get people on automated webinar? So that's an invitation email. And, basically it's, you got to urge them to sign up. Kind of like what I was saying. It would the whole number one outcome that we're looking for, and the whole purpose of writing the email is one thing, getting them sign up for the webinar. So you're actually writing, emails to get them to go to the webinar. So that would be there is like, hey, listen, what do you, hey, just let you know X, Y, Z time. I don't know how the time changes. I don't use automated webinars. So, but it's the same thing. It's really the same thing. I send the email. I mean, I send the email out for things like that. Like even what I showed you, like that copy I just showed you on that page is really simple. Your whole purpose is to get them to, your number one purpose is to let them know that there's a call, get them to register for that call. Here's an interesting thing. If your email that you're sending out is not transparent, meaning you may find that you're going to get a lot of people to click, but not a lot of people to register. On mine, you notice, like I'll say, hey, on Wednesday, this is going to happen. The more transparent I could be, there's going to be a special call. Here's something to actually let you guys know. I've done some testing on, now this is current, not different. And I will screw up, like, hey, which one's better? I've tested, I forget about it, but, calling the name of that webinar, calling it a training, calling it a workshop, calling it whatever, webinar, calling it a masterclass. Actually, out of all of those and everything that I've tested, actually masterclass is the better one. So it's like, just get them to sign up for that. Actually, you'll see when I remember, I go in and change it and do that. The whole purpose is to get them to know that, hey, we got a special masterclass. Why is it unique? And when is it, so that you can get on, from there. So, I mean, that's a big thing that I would really write is, hey, hurry up, get on this call. So for me, I want to get people on early. I want to encourage people to get on. That's why I do early bird bonuses. That also ensures that I'm going to have, people, I'm going to get people on if they get on, and I can do my job at the beginning, kind of like a subject line. At the beginning, I can capture their attention and get them to hold on the whole time. That's always better. So I, do it that way. But should I send HTML emails or text emails? Well, emails, it's a great question. The answer is really depend upon your platform. But the only way that we can truly track opens and clicks, we can is through HTML emails. Can you track clicks? Yes, you can. In a text email, however, usually it makes the link look like poo. So I always make sure that I do. I send it in HTML, but usually it's text emails HTML emails disguised as text. If that makes sense, that's actually what everybody does, because that's the way we track it. And there's no way I could split test a text email. I can only split test HTML email. So from there. Who is your favorite copywriter? Me. No, I don't have one. I don't have one. Good question, but I don't have one. I have a lot of copywriter friends. So a lot of the people that I studied became my friends. And a lot of it's in conversation. And everybody has their own unique purpose. Everybody has a unique purpose. So to me, I will tell you, every copywriter is different. Like, I will tell you one thing. Let me just share with you guys one thing and I'll get out of here. Years ago, I decided I was going to do a big launch. And when I say big launch, I was going to do a huge launch. And I wanted to break the ClickBank gravity record. There was the highest gravity. ClickBank has this thing called gravity. Gravity is based upon how many sales somebody made. So let's say you and me and Joe, so it'd be three of us. You sold 100 or you sold 1,000. Joe sold 100. I sold 1. That would count as 3 gravity points within a 7-day period. At the time, there was only 3 people in the world to ever break 1,000 gravity, maybe 4. So I said, well, nobody's ever been higher than that. I said, well, if there are 4 people, somebody's already showed they can break 1,000. I'm going to break 2,000 gravity. Don't know why I said I was going to do that, but I did. And because sometimes I like to create unreachable goals, or just crazy goals. So I said that, and I said I'm going to do it, and I ended up doing it. But my point on that, in order for me to get to where I knew I needed to find the best copywriter, or we needed to get in the best state to write the copy. So at the time, I found not just any copywriter. See, that's it. I didn't just go to Dan because I knew Dan. I didn't go to Ted Nichols because I know Ted. Everybody has their purpose. They have their strength. So what I did was we actually went to that network, ClickBank. We looked at all the top selling products that have been on there. We printed off every page. We put them on the wall. We stared at them, tried to figure out the common elements of every single one, see if there was any commonalities of every single top selling offer over there. Then what we did, and my walls were full. Then what we did is we found out, once we discovered the actual ones that made the most money and the commonalities, we kind of figured that there's got to be somebody behind all this. Once we did that, we reached out to people that actually, put those things, the ones together that actually we knew sold really well, the ones we liked. Then what we did is we found out who actually wrote this copy. We found out there's 2 guys that wrote the copy. Each of them, were really expensive copywriters. Maybe it's $20,000, $50,000 to have them write one piece of copy. And just so you know, I paid $30,000 just to get a bunch of Word document of copy before. Seriously, just get a Word document of not email copy, just sales letter copy. And my point is, so what we did is we did that. And then what we said is we decided we were going to write the copy because we figured, because here's what happens. I paid $30,000 for copy before. I got my copy and I still got to fix the damn thing. Or I've got to tweak it. And I just, they give me some starting points, but really anything from here. So what we did is I had somebody with me and I said, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to go straight to the source. I'm going to just pay them for half a day. And so while we were flying up, we went to one, we flew over to the other. And so we spent a half a day with both these copywriters. We said, here's our goal. We're going to break every record that's been impossible. I'm paying you for half a day. They couldn't even believe it. Like, you don't want anything? So we literally walked in, and the first one was just horrible. They're good at copy, but they're horrible personal skills. But they taught us a lot. We had another copywriter taught us some stuff, and we decided that we said, if for this money, and I think we spent like 10 grand, 20 grand for each person for half a day. And we said to each of them, or said to them, I had a partner with it. So partner and I on a flight, we decided when we went to the first one, we said to ourselves, if we can get one question answered to feel like we got our money's worth, what would that one question be? And that question that we wanted answered was, what do you think the secret to all the copy is? Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The one guy really couldn't answer it. Actually, yeah, the one guy couldn't answer it. The other guy said something. He goes, it's a song. And we kind of all played into it, and we realized, and this guy's actually a really good copywriter. No names. Some of the best copywriters are the ones you don't know. And nobody like really knows this guy, although you've watched the cartoons that he's created. And so we were talking to him, and we came to the conclusion of this one thing. And it's the good copy is kind of like a song. So, a lot of them will listen to music and write copy, and you'll feel the beat of the song. But also, I think the true answer, especially when we're talking copywriters, not just email and stuff like this, but true copy has soul. And so when we came to the conclusion that the one element, the one piece of all the copy that actually was the best copy working at sales letters specifically, that we discovered is the answer to the question was soul, and it needed soul. And if we can add soul to it, kind of what I was talking about, the humility, you give it soul, then, that's where the real true power is. And because you give the copy a life of its own. And I just say that because, that was, to me, I never thought about it. It's like different copywriters talk different things. I've had some copywriters tell me, God speaks in their ear. And they just, because they get connected and they channel the copy. It's good. I will say to you, when you get in good copy, for me, I've got to be separated. I've got to be, I got to no distraction. I think about it, and once I have my angle, I got it. I write. Let me give you guys another thing that I do whenever I'm in it to really, truly write some copy. Sometimes you can't force it. I found that I can't force it. Now, if I can't come up with something, I always swipe it. But if I'm writing it, I think about it. and I spend a little more time than probably most people, but I think about it as like, hey, what's the outcome I want to create? What am I going to do? Okay. And then I start writing. Now, actually, I do it a little bit differently. I actually speak into my phone and get it transcribed and usually have it sent to myself. And then I start from there. So I have some starting copy. And I would just, just kind of talking to, I just have, there's programs you can have on your phone. So I have it send it over to me. And then it's like, oh, hey, here's my concept. And then once I have that, then I get then I get the words. I put it in a Word doc, or a text document. And then I start crafting and creating the email. So when I'm really writing, especially sequences and stuff like that, I usually will start thinking it out. And then that way to be able to make it happen from there. Cool. Cool. Somebody did ask what's one charge to write emails as a business. I used to, if you go to, it used to be called the Direct Mail Association. They do have a kind of thing over there. I believe it's called Direct Response Marketing Association. They changed their name, but if you search for, I think it's Direct Response Marketing Association, they'll tell you all the answers to that. Unfortunately, I'm on a new computer. I do have that answer. I just can't. My other computer, literally, fan's done. It's dead. It's at my office. The back's ripped off. I need to get a fan replaced. So I don't have all that stuff. But if you do look for that, that's where I got the answer. So cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to tell you guys I do appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed today. You guys are awesome. And you guys have a good day. All right. You guys have a great day. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hope you enjoyed it.